This video is supported by CuriosityStream.
When Deloitte wrote this analysis gleefully making predictions about the future of electric cars and consumer preferences, it included more than 35,000 consumer responses across 20 global markets. It's a very well-made report. While it was accurate just a few months ago, the world has changed so much that it's irrelevant now. It's surprising how quickly the auto industry is deteriorating. I know many commentators in the media space are trying to be as positive as possible about the future, but as of now, the immediate future for the auto industry looks pretty bleak. I've explained in a previous video why Tesla is in a good financial position, better than before, but today, let's talk about the industry as a whole and why it is that EVs could be the biggest winner out of this crisis. Last year was a bad year for the auto industry. We had a cyclical downturn and the demand for cars dropped sharply in many consumer markets, including that of the United States, China, Japan, and EU, from a total of 79 million in 2018 to 75 million at the end of last year. But of course, that picture looks almost too good to be true now. COVID-19 sweeping through the globe has put the entire market to a halt. Most people are staying at home, resulting in a shortage of both demand and supply for cars. On paper, as long as auto companies have enough cash for the next 3 months, consensus among scientists is that we would be able to contain COVID-19 in most developed countries and we would resume our production sometimes in June. Not going back to the levels before the crisis, but a significant level of production should be possible. Here's the problem though. Many auto companies are debt-ridden. Toyota, for example, is the largest auto company by market capitalization. Its long-term debt has just crossed 100 billion as of last year. General Motors is a smaller company than Toyota in terms of market capitalization, but it is also around $100 billion in debt by the end of last year. Since 2015, GM has announced a stock buyback program that's worth $14 billion, and right now it is $10.6 billion deep into it. This is a greedy move, not completely unjustified because GM has done well in the past decade after the 2008 financial crisis thanks to the explosion of the car ownership in China. Nevertheless, buyback is always a tool to make shareholders and investors happy and is never good for the company. On top of that, most of GM's remaining debt is used for buying valuable long-term assets, as shown in this chart, so GM is careful this time and most money is spent in the right way. But money spent on expansion will be risky regardless in a huge financial downturn such as this. Those might be the right decisions, but at a really poor timing. On a more fundamental level, this is a demand and supply problem. For the next 3 months, both demand and supply will be down drastically. Unlike the 79 to 75 million sales drop last year, this time sales will be cut in half. We're already seeing worse numbers in various markets. Last month, Bloomberg reported an estimated 80% drop in auto sales in China. Just a few days ago, Forbes projected an 80% dip in auto sales in EU and around a 60% dip in the United States. This shows that the demand for cars in the EU and the United States is more inelastic than that of China, but when 60% of sales are gone, so must 60% of productive materials, components, workers, machines, and factory plants. This is an unfortunate situation for the industry, but it's not within anyone's control now. Perhaps the worst prospect right now is with long-term uncertainty. If the situation is that we stop everything for 3 months and it guarantees normalcy afterwards, our economy is robust enough for that. But it is now many experts' view that COVID-19 will not go away for at least 2 years until the vaccine is ready. This means our economy is not going back to 100% before crisis from a production capability perspective. And from a demand perspective, this is going to be worse, especially for the transportation industry. The demand will be down throughout this period until we know for sure that COVID-19 is gone. Perhaps the closest example we have right now is China. Despite accusations of faking their numbers, the country is lifting restrictions and is trying hard to live with this new reality. But even for China, where the infection cases are way down, the current return to work rules is still focused on strategic industries such as auto manufacturing. Most entertainment venues are still closed, such as movie theaters and bars. This means that auto industry post-COVID-19 will recover better than many other industries. It's good news. The early numbers coming out of China are promising. Its manufacturing PMI index rebound in March after China contained the virus is a good indicator and a promising hope for the future. It shows that once the situation is under control, we could see expansions in our economy again. There is a silver lining for Tesla as well. It is doing well in China, even under a terrible market. Tesla sold 10,000 Model 3s in China in March. This is when Mercedes sales in China dropped from 67,000 in January to 11,000 in February. Tesla's growth was also at an expense of many Chinese electric car companies. Q1 EV sales show that Tesla is the only growth company in the first quarter. Noted that all other companies are Chinese ones and they're hit hardest in the first quarter. More accurate numbers will come in Q2. In light of the crisis, China also extended its new energy vehicle purchase subsidies and purchase tax exemption policies for 2 years. This means Tesla will be around 20% cheaper than its ICE competitors in China, a strong incentive for Tesla's growth. A total of 18.3 billion Chinese RMB was loaned to Tesla at a very low interest rate, knowing full well how many Chinese EV brands will suffer facing the competition from Tesla. Strong EV commitment of the Chinese government will be a good boost for Tesla's performance. So the industry is indeed in a dire state. Everyone hopes for the pandemic to end, but it is not going to anytime soon. If the virus persists for a longer time, as many experts are expecting, this is going to be a test for all auto companies. But here's my point. Although the production numbers will be abysmal in the next 3 months, it doesn't have to be for the next 2 years. How long the auto companies will suffer depends very much on how fast each country can get this under control. And from a definitive innovation perspective, change is not necessarily a bad thing, not for consumers like us. Some less competitive companies will die, supply chains broken, sales channels disrupted, but when demand picks up in a few years' time, we will find a completely different auto landscape with much less resistance to change. And who is to say that Tesla and many other EV companies wouldn't be the biggest winner out of this? This section is supported by CuriosityStream, a subscription streaming service that offers thousands of award-winning documentaries. Right now, we're all having a tough time with the virus outbreak. If you're just like me, staying at home, check out CuriosityStream, for it has the most complete catalog of documentaries anywhere. There is one specific documentary I'd like to recommend to you: Coronavirus: Race for a Vaccine. It goes deeper into how virus works and how vaccines are made. Other episodes in the same series touches on other parts of our lives. Life on Mars, space exploration, climate change, the list goes on. If you want to know more about our world, check them out on curiositystream.com/curiouselephant. Lastly, CuriosityStream offers our audience a 1-month free trial as long as you sign up through the link down below with the code curiouselephant. Once your free trial is up, the charge is $11.99 a year, which is less than $1 a month. Another great news for our audience right now is that the annual subscription of CuriosityStream also comes with free Nebula, a streaming video platform built by and for independent creators like Polymatter, Minute Physics, Wendover, and myself. There are many exciting exclusive contents on Nebula, so sign up for CuriosityStream to try out both platforms today.